Spring 2000. Angry young Serbs have declared a non-violent war against a man they say has stolen the best 10 years of their lives. His name is Slobodan Milosevic. After the bombing, thousands of protesters, led by students, take to the streets against Milosevic. Security forces deal with them easily. And though they are determined, marching day after day, demonstrations are no serious threat to the regime. But among the opposition, one group knows that protest is not enough. Working quietly, they target the very foundation of Milosevic's power, the ordinary people who until now have been afraid to oppose him. Their symbol, the clenched fist. Their name, Otpor, the Serbian word for resistance. Otpor, resistance, is already a year old. But in the aftermath of the NATO bombing, it's growing fast.
Danas imamo otpor u preko 70 gradova u Srbiji.
Boasting activists from all over Serbia, Otpor declares itself a national movement.
Već 10 godina pokušavam da skinem ovu fleku. Verujte mi, sve sam probala. Sada se pojavila nova mašina. Ona ima odličan program koji pouzdano, sigurno i nepovratno skida ovu i slične mrlje.
Dozvolite mi...
Pa samo tu. Vidite, deluje.
Konačno, gotov je.
U toj priči moramo da pođemo prvo od toga da svaki nedemokratski režim pokušava da izgleda ili spolja izgleda na isti način. Imate malu grupu na vrhu tog režima koja pod sobom kontroliše razne resurse, razne institucije, razne represivne mehanizme, sudstvo, medije i već sve drugo što može se nabroji. I generalno taj sistem koji se u teoriji zove monolit. I ljudi su gledali u taj monolit, ali neće se monolit promeniti dok glavu ne odsečete. A to se zove revolucija. I mi smo rekli, ne, Otpor je jedan prodemokratski pokret koji ne menja vlast tako što nekom odseče glavu, nego Srbi su narod koji može da promeni vlast na izborima sada i svaki sledeći put, jer to je dokaz da smo civilizovan narod.
Onaj ko pokušava da Otpor predstavi kao studentsku političku partiju i organizaciju greši. Otpor je neofašistička organizacija na tradiciji crvenih brigada i ova država će sa svim svojim strukturama koju i druge države koriste kada su suočene sa terorizmom ovakvih razmjera.
Vi ćete imati najveći zadatak u životu. Ako stvari stoje onako kako ja mislim da stoje, mi ćemo morati organizujemo proteste. Vi ste trenirani da to sprovedete. Vi ste pravili mrežu po fakultetima. Ovo je vaš protest. Sve što se bude dešavalo je vaše.
Democracy has awoken in the Middle East, but was what seems like a spontaneous revolution actually a strategically planned event, cultivated by professional consultants?
The events in North Africa are orchestrated down to the finest details.
These revolution consultants are the worst nightmare of every regime. Here you can see the symbol of resistance.
We are becoming the red flag for the secret police of these places.
They mainly operate in countries in which the Western world has a clear interest. Hardly a coincidence, it seems.
The institutions that support him, you take those away, the regime has to fall.
Cairo in early February. The sudden appearance of the wild horsemen at this demonstration shocked the world over. Storming into the crowd, they split the peaceful demonstration apart. Yet what seemed like a brutal attack by the Mubarak regime was actually a staged affair, intended for the national and international media. The message? Egypt is in a state of chaos. Provoked by these false attacks, demonstrators reacted with violence and the situation escalated. Right from the start, the revolution consultants follow a specific strategy, a strategy developed by the Serbian organization Otpor. This organization mobilized millions of people to bring about the downfall of Serbian leader Slobodan Milosevic. Their strategy became a blueprint, proving successful once again when used in the revolution in Egypt. Otpor organized workshops in the outskirts of Cairo. In these workshops we were trained in the art of peaceful resistance. We had to learn that the police are not our enemy and that we must try to get them on our side. We had to impress people with the idea of non-violent resistance. The Serbs have used their experience 12 years ago to form a revolution training school, the Center of Strategy for Non-Violent Resistance, or for short, CANVAS. Chief instructor Serdar Popovic is one of the few CANVAS members who would show his face publicly in front of the camera. It was here in his office that the Egyptian revolution was planned.
The trick is that you don't push, you pull. What you're actually doing is actually persuading these people from the police force, from military force, that there will be a place for them in the new Egypt.
And it isn't just Egyptians getting trained in the art of revolution here.
The part of our work now is focused back to Middle East because of the few reasons. First of all, the struggle is not over. And we're already talking about 8 or 9 different countries. In some of these countries, which I of course wouldn't mention, we have very good groups which we are communicating with. We don't want to endanger these groups, so we wouldn't speak about this openly. In some of these countries, we are just observing situation and preparing analytics. It is very interesting what will come out.
The American author and Princeton University lecturer William Engdahl has written for over 30 years about Washington's secret geopolitics. He has established a widespread information network that extends deep into America's Secret Service. He is convinced Otpor is not acting alone.
The key actors in Otpor went on to create Canvas, as you mentioned, and operate in some 50 countries. They are simply following an agenda given them by people in Washington for regime change. They're using this deniability that they're simply idealistic young people from Serbia who did it successfully and are so happy about it they want to show the rest of the world. That's hardly a plausible explanation in my view. I think they're getting well financed by American intelligence services for doing this. And the target countries they target, like Egypt and most recently, and so are precisely the countries that are on the Pentagon agenda for destabilization and regime change.
We had a trainer from Belgrade, yes, from the city of Belgrade, who came and trained the participants on these strategies, focusing mainly on the Serbian experience.
It was here, outside the Belgrade parliament, that Otpor's influence began.
How many countries you were working with that after this?
We worked with 37 countries after the Serbian Revolution. We had a successful 5 revolutions now before Middle East. And this is Georgia, Ukraine, Lebanon, Maldives, and now Egypt and Tunisia. And the list will grow longer, and then at the end we don't have an idea in how many countries the clenched fist of Otpor was used. It's probably dozen countries right now.
After Milosevic's downfall, Otpor became an international phenomenon. The symbol of the fist reappears all over the world as the signature of the revolution makers. It re-emerged in Kamara, Georgia, followed by Oborona in Russia, then in Venezuela and Iran, and most recently it was used by the opposition groups in Egypt. Back in Belgrade, Otpor trainer Ivan Marvic proudly presents his new gadget for resistance training. It's a computer game that simulates the fight against the power of state. Ivan is sure that the game will make his training much more effective. Sponsorship for the development of the game came from American organizations.
The game, downloaded off the internet or smuggled on a CD, can reach people that we personally cannot. And so that obstacle is removed. Another thing is the question of scale. You know, personally, I can meet maybe up to 150 people a year if I work full-time. The game can actually reach much bigger number of people. The tactics that, you know, mass protests, occupying buildings, blocking the whole city, you know. But you're trying to kind of galvanize, you know, like rock concerts to come, and then you use that opportunity to recruit, etc., etc.
Marvic argues that the new generation doesn't want to read books. They would prefer to play video games, and it's far more effective. The Otpor movement was indeed financed by American tax money during the Serbian Revolution, a fact that only became public knowledge after Milosevic's downfall. This chapter, however, is one that Otpor is keen to close.
America is pursuing a forward strategy of freedom in the greater Middle East.
To diversify their economies, open their political systems.
We must stand with democratic leaders and moderate reformers across the broader Middle East.
The United Kingdom is ready to work with governments and civil society in the Middle East in support of greater economic development and more open political systems.
From Damascus to Tehran, that freedom can be the future of every nation.
You must not get the impression that what happens in the streets of Cairo at the moment is initiated by the Western world or other foreign states.
Hello, I'm Marovic, Ivan Marovic. In 2000, my friends and I brought down Slobodan Milošević. Ever since, I've been traveling the world and teaching people how to get rid of their pesky dictators. So I have come up with these 3 easy steps so you too can get in on the action and laugh your way to freedom. Make politics sexy. I hate politics. Politics sucks. It's boring. It's not cool. Normal people hate politics. But you need normal people if you want to make change. So in order to do that, you need to make politics sexy. Make it cool. Make it hip. Revolution as a fashion line. Make repression work for you. Ooh. The regime uses repression to raise fear. So in order to lower that fear, movement needs to increase the number of people that are targeted by the repression, because that is going to make the repression weaker. And make craziness the norm. 10,000 people in the street is news. 10 people in the street is obviously not news. But 10 people in the street doing something crazy, now that's news. So if you have only 10 people, do something crazy, something funny, do something engaging, do something that will reveal the problems of a society in a humorous way.
10 years I've been trying to get rid of this stain, but now there's a new machine.
Excuse me, did I say easy? English is only my 5th language. I meant to say 3 hard steps to get rid of a dictator. But you know, once you master a recipe, you can repeat it over and over and over and over and over again in any occasion.